everyone. This is Krista Melton, and I am coming to you live from my office at GCCARD Head Start. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you the parent orientation. Things are very different with COVID-19, and so I would ask that even if you've heard it before, that you listen closely because some of the information has probably changed. You will notice as you're watching me that I'm going to be reading quite a lot of it. That's because so many things have changed, and I just don't want to get any of it wrong. So forgive me for reading to you, but here we go. Ready? First, I'd like to do introductions. The staff who have downtown offices, like your education coordinators, who are the supervisors of the teaching staff, or the family service staff who have helped you get enrolled and will be doing a lot of paperwork with you. Their phone number is 810-235-5613. You will want to have that information because you never know when you're going to need to call and ask for help or have some kind of question that they could answer. Your child's teacher or teacher assistant or the lunch aide in your classroom, they have a different phone number that is for their center, and that information will be coming later to you. Okay, parents and families, we need you. So if you are interested in employment with us, we do have some openings for lunch aides. Lunch aides make minimum wage and they work 4, 5, or 7 hours at one location. These folks are so essential to our program and we need them. We also really need subs. So if you'd rather not work 4 days a week, like a lunch aide, you'd rather work maybe 1 or 2 days a week, and you'd rather be able to pick when it is that you would go, I would ask that you sign up to be a sub for us. Those folks make at least $85 a day, and they are often set up the night before. So it's not like you will always be getting a phone call at 6 a.m. Sometimes you're going to know the night before so you can make plans of where you're going and how you're going to get there and what time you need to wake up. Those 2 positions only require a high school diploma or a GED. So don't feel like you haven't been to college so you can't do this. It's okay. We will train you how to do this. Volunteering. Typically, we really welcome volunteers into our classroom, but due to COVID-19, all volunteering in our classrooms is temporarily suspended until further notice. We're really sorry about that. I'm just trying to keep everyone safe. We do have the option, if you would like to do checks on our playgrounds, we would love to have you go and check for garbage or anything that's broken on the playground that we play with. You could also wipe off playground equipment. That would be really helpful. If that's something that you're interested in doing, make sure that you let your teaching staff know. And, after you've done it, make sure that they know that you did it so they can record it. When restrictions are lifted and you are welcome to come in and volunteer again, just an FYI that there will be paperwork you're going to be filling out that is about having a background clearance. That is required for volunteering now. It didn't used to be required, but recently the state of Michigan has decided that anyone who is going to be around children at all in licensed child care facilities will have background checks. So if you want to volunteer once COVID-19 is over, or even if you want to do the playground inspections, you will need to fill that out. That should make you feel safer about having your child in our care. Not just anyone can be with your child. They have to have a clear background check before that can happen. Typically, when we do allow volunteers into our classrooms, they do a number of different things. They're going to read to kids if they want to. They're going to help tie shoes. They're going to play at the Play-Doh table. They're going to build with blocks. They're going to help supervise outdoor time. Typically, we go on field trips. Always, when we do go, we pay for one Head Start child or early Head Start child with one adult to go. So if that's something that you're interested in, we would love to have you go on our field trips with us. Father figures, you are always wanted in our program. There's no experience required, no high school diploma even. If you are a dad or an uncle or a grandpa or a clergy member, you'll have to have your background clearance. But we would love to have you in our sites once COVID-19 is over. Okay, Parent Policy Council. This is one way that you can volunteer for our program. even during COVID-19. Typically, these meetings are going to be held at our downtown office or at a local church, typically the West Flint Church of the Nazarene over on Dye Road in Flint. But due to COVID-19, we have suspended in-person council meetings, and until further notice, all of our Parent Policy Council functions, for the most part, will be held using Zoom meetings and the Remind app. So if that's something that you're interested in, I really need you to speak to your family service staff or your teaching staff to get signed up so that we can get you the information for those meetings. This is a great way for you to be active in your child's education. Sincerely, Parent Policy Council is behind every policy that we have. They make all kinds of decisions, including hiring new staff. They sit in on all interviews for staff. They help us with so many things, including the budget. They help us decide how it is that we're going to spend our money. I cannot tell you how important that Parent Policy Council really is to our program. So if you would like to be involved in that, please join us. We typically have meetings on Tuesday mornings, usually once a month, maybe twice a month if we're doing something big like the budget or something like that. When we do go back to meeting in person, we always have on-site childcare available for the meetings, typically anyway. We do a meal reimbursement of $6 for a half day, $10 for a full day meeting. It's typically given to you in cash. There is a mileage reimbursement to get to those meetings so that you're not out that gas money. In that case, a check is mailed to you when you drive there. If you don't have transportation and we're having those meetings, typically we can get you there. If you let us know in advance, we can have a staff member come and pick you up in one of our vehicles. There is no need for any reason really to keep you out of Parent Policy Council except for just that you don't want to do it or that you are busy on Tuesday mornings. We do want parents from every aspect of our program to be involved in Policy Council, and we really need your help. So please sign up. Parent engagement events. So COVID-19 is probably going to force us to cancel most of those plans. You're going to watch for flyers. We do typically have a home buyers workshop in November. We typically have a Royal Ball, which is a lot of fun in February. We typically offer Red Cross first aid and CPR certification for parents in March. And we typically have a Crossroads Village field trip in May or June. We might have something called a Little Feet Meet, which is going to be like a great big field event for kids. And it'll be a lot of fun in May if we're allowed to have it. So we don't know at this time whether or not we're going to be able to have it. If we can offer something online in the event that COVID-19 shuts that down, then we will. But there's not really a whole lot you can do about Crossroads Village, for example. You can't really do that online. So there will be further information as we go. Attendance matters. When your child has to be absent, please call the classroom as soon as possible for that excused absence. Excused absences could be health related, could be a family emergency, could be lack of transportation, could be a religious holiday, could be a lack of proper clothing. Maybe it's cold outside and you don't have a warm coat for your child. Or it could be because of severe weather. Maybe it's, pouring cats and dogs and you just can't get there. Maybe you typically walk and you are not going to walk through that lightning storm. We totally understand. Just call us and it will be an excused absence. Think about our staff who are trying to help all of these wonderful children and have to stop helping them to go dig out your phone number to try to call you. If you could just call us, that would be so much better. We would really, really, really appreciate it. If we don't get a hold of you when we call you because you haven't called us, we're going to be going down that emergency card and calling every number on that emergency card. So please don't get upset with us. When we call you, we need you to answer the phone. And really what we want you to do is just call us. If you could call us instead, that would be way better. 8 or more consecutive unexcused absences are going to result in your child being dropped from the program. And we really hate to do that. So don't make us do it. Just call us and let us know if your child won't be there. That's all you have to do. That's all we require. So you could also email us if your phone is out of juice. Just give us a call. or send us an email, something, communicate with us so we know. Good attendance contributes to students doing well in school and eventually in the workplace. The early school years are essential for laying a foundation for strong attendance and academic success in future years. By middle and high school, poor attendance is even more predictive of dropout. Each absence represents a preventable lost opportunity to learn in the classroom, and we can't afford to think of absenteeism as merely a lack of compliance with school rules. For real, your child will do so much better in school if they attend regularly. Students are at risk academically if they are chronically absent. That means missing just 2 days in a whole month, or 10% of the whole school year. When too many absences occur, they can affect learning regardless of whether absences are excused or unexcused. Sporadic, not just consecutive, absences matter. So if you just miss once now and then you miss again in a couple of weeks, it all adds up, and it really does impact the education of your child. And I know that's why you're in this program, because you want your child to be well educated, and that's what we want too. So please, if you can help to get your child to our program when we're open, we would really appreciate it. Prevent absences whenever possible. So making sure that you attend your health and wellness screenings with your doctor is huge for keeping your child well. Trying to help your child to avoid serious or contagious illness is also important. Making backup plans for transportation. This is the time to be getting a hold of friends and saying, hey, I have a child going into preschool. If something happens and I can't get my child there, could you be a backup for me? This is the time to work on that. You're going to have to tell us who could pick your child up. So typically it's the same people. Give those people a call. Let them know that you need their assistance maybe in the future, and ask them if they'd be willing to be on that list for you. If you ever are in need of clothes or your transportation has fallen through, call us. Sometimes we can give you referrals to help you get that stuff fixed. Our plan to minimize the exposure for your child is next on our list. And these slides are added because of COVID-19. They are definitely new to our program. Some of the things we've been doing all along, but some of them are very new. So I am going to be reading those to you. We will be practicing social distancing. Most classrooms are going to operate Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but a few exceptions will operate Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And your teacher is going to let you know which of those schedules your child will have. Cribs and cots are going to be placed 6 feet apart if possible, and children will sleep in the head-to-toe position. Staff members will wear cloth-based coverings at all times unless they have a medical exemption on file with our program. Children wear them as long as there are not underlying health issues and the child is over age 2. Some districts have specific rules about mask wearing, so stay tuned for information specific to your child's classroom. Outdoor playtime must be staggered to avoid large groups. We will space out seating at meals and on the rugs as much as possible.
Drop-off and pickup times. Procedures will be developed independently at each site, taking into consideration the existing policies for the buildings. Parents will be required to sign children in and out. Individual ink pens will be provided and sanitized after use. Children will wash hands upon entrance to the classroom. Only one adult may be present to drop off the child to avoid unnecessary contact and congestion. Parents are asked not to congregate in a single space or a large group.
Okay, hygiene. Staff and children are going to wash their hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Especially we're going to be doing that after nose blowing, coughing, sneezing, using the bathroom, and before eating or preparing food. If soap and water are not available, let's say they're outside or something, hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol shall be used for adults only by covering all surfaces of the hands and rubbing until dry. This is to be kept out of reach of children at all times because there are toxic chemicals in hand sanitizer that we don't want in kids' mouths. Continue to teach covering coughs and sneezes with a tissue or elbow. So folks, this is where you're going to teach your child to cough into their elbow, please. We will keep children's belongings separate to the extent possible so that they're not in constant contact. And we will limit physical contact like hugging and hand holding, etc., to the extent possible. Children are still going to be children. And while we're going to discourage it, I can't promise you that one child isn't going to reach out and touch another child or hug them or whatever. So we're going to discourage that kind of contact, and yet I can't promise that it won't happen.
Cleaning. Common areas shall be deep cleaned daily with special and frequent attention given to commonly touched items like sinks, bathrooms, doorknobs, tabletops, shared items, frequently touched playground equipment. Toys shall be cleaned frequently. Items from home shall be limited to those that are absolutely necessary. Comfort items shall be cleaned or washed daily. Playground equipment that is used will be wiped down in the following manner. High-touch surfaces made of plastic or metal will be washed, but never be sanitized. Cleaning or disinfection of wooden surfaces, ground covers, or sidewalks is unnecessary. We will not utilize drinking fountains at all.
And now we're going to get to some of the other rules about monitoring symptoms. All children are going to be required to be screened for COVID-19 symptoms, including a temperature prior to entering the classroom, and again, if symptoms appear in the course of the day. For children, fever is the key indicator, and any temperature above 100.4 will be cause for exclusion of care. Temperature checks with a touchless thermometer or one that is sanitized between each use, and a visual check for illness must be conducted daily. Parents must be asked if the child has been in close contact with a person that has COVID-19 or if the child has felt unwell in the last 3 days. If they have, they will be excluded. Families shall let the site lead teacher know about possible or confirmed cases of COVID-19 of anyone in their household shows symptoms or has tested positive. We really need to work together to try to keep everyone safe. We want to keep our staff safe. We want to keep your kids safe. And the best way we can do that is with communication and cleaning procedures and then monitoring wellness. Staff are going to self-assess for cough, shortness of breath, or difficulty breathing, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headache, new loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion, runny nose, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. A fever of 100.4 or COVID symptoms excludes staff from providing care. If symptoms arise during the day, a caregiver must wear a face covering and limit close interactions with children until another caregiver can relieve them. This is one of the reasons that we really need subs. Please, if you're interested in subbing in our classrooms, we are going to need a lot of subs this year. Staff are required to report contact with others outside of work with documented COVID-19 and will be instructed to self-quarantine. Staff shall report all COVID-19 related exclusions for staff and children to their education and health coordinator as soon as possible. And those staff members will report exposure to the local health department and licensing for next steps. At no time shall health information or concerns about a specific child or staff member be shared with others. We're going to be really careful with our HIPAA regulations. And we will utilize primary caregiver roles to the extent possible. So in our classrooms, there will be children and a teacher assistant and a lunch or class assistant. We are going to use primary caregiving in our classrooms. It's just another technique that we're using to try to minimize the risk of exposure. So the next part of our plan details how you are supposed to wear your face covering correctly according to the CDC. When you are using those, you should wash your hands before putting your face covering on. You should put it over your mouth and your nose and secure it under your chin. Try to fit it snugly against the sides of your face and make sure that you can breathe easily. Do not place a mask on a child under 2 years old. Don't put the covering around your neck or up on your forehead, and don't touch your face covering. And if you do, you should clean your hands. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds each time. Use hand sanitizer if soap and water are not available. Again, we're only using that for adults, not for children. We're going to untie the strings behind your head or stretch the ear loops off to help take off our masks. We will then fold the outside corners together and place the covering in the washing machine. You will wash your hands with soap and water after all of that. You should only really be handling your face mask with the ear loops or the ties. Part 8, returning to care and work. So a child or staff member that only has a fever can return after being fever-free for 24 hours without fever-reducing medication. If a staff member or a child exhibits multiple COVID-19 symptoms, you expect exposure or have tested positive, then you have to stay home until they are fever-free for 24 hours without medication. Other symptoms have improved and at least 10 days have passed since the onset of the symptoms. This is a huge difference, but we are really hopeful that having this policy will help to limit exposure in our classrooms. Okay, everything changes except change itself, and that is so true. So these plans to minimize the risk of exposure are in effect now until further notice. As much about COVID-19 is unknown, we expect that there are going to be changes and policies and procedures that we're going to have to adapt that are different than what I'm even telling you today. As we learn new things, we'll be changing. And we're going to take our cues from the CDC, Genesee County Health Department, and the Office of Head Start. We will always do our best to keep people safe and healthy and make policies that make sense while informing you about those along the way. Thank you for your patience. This is a really crazy time, and we really appreciate the work together that we're going to do. Here are some other reasons that your child might be excluded from our classrooms or that home visits would be canceled, like chickenpox or scabies, measles, strep throat, conjunctivitis, diarrhea, vomiting, persistent abdominal pain, surgery or major illnesses, etc. And as you see in this slide, there's a whole list there. If you have a rash and you don't know why, that's another reason that you might be excluded until you can figure out if that's a rash that would be communicable to other people. Head lice, that is something we exclude for, so be prepared for that. You will see throughout this presentation that there will be page numbers listed for what I'm speaking about. These page numbers are in relation to the parent handbook. We've just made all these new policies with COVID-19. The next slide is about our curriculum. We do utilize the creative curriculum, which is research-based and play-based. Every child learns differently, and this curriculum has been around for at least 20 years, and they do update it. It provides support for teachers and caregivers as they create responsive daily routines and meaningful learning experiences for our young learners. Everything that you would need to know about building a high quality program is in this curriculum. It is something that Parent Policy Council selected a long time ago, and it's really the best on the market. So you'll be very happy to do some research on this curriculum. It is research-based. It works. Our kids learn so much through hands-on project-based investigations. It builds children's confidence, creativity, and critical thinking skills and promotes positive outcomes. We will do assessments on your child 3 times a year. These are based on observations of your child. We will share those with you during parent-teacher conferences and home visits. This assessment is research-based. It's valid and reliable. And you're going to see on your slide, there are color bands on this which will help parents to know if their child is where they should be. Don't worry, you don't have to really know everything there is to know about the assessment. Your teacher is going to explain that to you. And they will let you know areas that you should work to improve, and they're going to let you know areas that your child is really strong in as well. Home visits and parent-teacher conferences are both done twice a year. They are prearranged. Typically, home visits are done in your home. They last anywhere between 15 minutes and an hour. They will discuss progress and set goals, and you're going to get to know each other better. We never judge you. We are not coming to check your cupboards. We don't want to know if you cleaned. Believe me, your house is probably cleaner than ours. At parent-teacher conferences, those typically happen at our center. Right now, I will tell you that to try to help everyone stay safe and reduce the amount of contact that we have. You'll be watching for information from your teacher about how those are going to be done in your center. Okay, so we are not just preschool. You might not have known that. We also provide social services. So we might be providing some parent-child activities. Typically, we have them in the classroom. We'll be providing monthly parent meetings. We're going to be providing a health advisory board. That is typically done quarterly. Transportation to medical and social service appointments as necessary is typically provided, but is not being provided due to COVID-19 currently. We also provide a wonderful mental health team. They visit classrooms monthly to help ensure a positive atmosphere, provide general recommendations for teaching staff. The team, they're available to observe your child if you want to, if you request it, and provide suggestions for you and for our teachers to help your child to succeed in our classroom. The team is also available to help you with any mental health concerns that you have in your own household. You just have to request their help. The team can refer you to a licensed counselor that accepts a sliding scale fee or a donation for pay, or it might even be in your network and your insurance would cover it. If you need that kind of assistance, ask behavioral health for help or mental health. Triple P Parenting Program is a wonderful curriculum that is offered that gives real life advice for common parenting struggles. Those videos are available to be checked out, and you can watch them at your convenience. We also provide wonderful meals for your child, and we have a wonderful nutrition staff. We contract with GCCARD Senior Nutrition and many of the school districts to provide your child's food, and it meets CACFP guidelines, which meet 2/3 of your child's recommended daily food. We typically provide family-style meals, but until further notice, we will not be doing that to minimize the exposure. We don't want to pass the chicken nuggets and have Johnny sneeze in them. That's why we're doing that. Sandy and Leah are our team, and they are available to help you with nutrition concerns like healthy eating tips and how to stretch your food dollars. If there's a food that your child simply can't eat because of a food allergy, for example, you should call Sandy or Leah ASAP at 235-5613. Not having the correct documentation on file with us and with the current food service can delay your child's start in our program. We also have a wonderful health team who is available to assist you. They can help you find a medical or dental home. They just need to know that you need help. Amy and Joe, they know about children who need medication. They need to know that stuff. So please, again, call them 235-5613 because there is paperwork to be done and plans to be developed. And that has to be done before children can start in our classrooms. Federal government, who pays for this program, requires children to be up to date with the EPSCT regulations. That means your child is going to have their complete physical and or well baby child visits for early Head Start at the months 1, 2, 4, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 24, and 30. And for Head Start kids, you're going to need it at 3, 4, and 5 years old. You will need any necessary treatment that the doctor says that you need. You will also make sure that you get your lead screening at 12 and 24 months. If your child's older than that, we just need to know what your child's lead screening was at 24 months. And if they didn't have one, get one. Hematocrit and hemoglobin screening are also required. We only need one time for your child to have that. So if they've already had it once in their life, just give us that result. Dental screenings are required and include fluoride varnishes 4 times a year for early Head Start, and dental exams and any necessary treatment are available every 6 months. You need to get them every 6 months. So Mott Children's Health Center does our dental fluoride varnishes for early Head Start, and there's paperwork in your packet if your child is under 3. Immunizations must be up to date, and provisional status can be provided by your doctor or a waiver granted by the Genesee County Health Department with the official seal. Otherwise, you have to have up-to-date immunizations. Vision and health screenings will be performed either by the health department or by our health coordinators. And we will be letting you know when those are going to happen in our classrooms. There are ways you can help us, making sure your child is there on those days, feeding them something before they come to class, making sure they're well rested. You can practice wearing headphones with your kids. That is super helpful. Practice using flashcards of any kind. Flashcards that have pictures are great. And talk about what's going to happen with your child so that they're prepared. Another way that you can help your child with being prepared just in general is to be sure that they get enough sleep. A lot of kids come to us cranky because they're not getting enough sleep. So please help us to manage our classroom behaviors by ensuring children get enough sleep. Newborns, children 0 to 3 months, need 14 to 17 hours. Infants 4 to 11 months need 12 to 15 hours. Toddlers 1 to 2 years old, they need 11 to 14 hours of sleep. Preschoolers who are 3 to 5 years old need 10 to 13 hours of sleep. A lot of kids don't get that, and they come to us cranky and they end up having behavioral problems. That is usually one of the first things that you can fix is their sleep habits. Try to get them to sleep more and better during their days. How parents will know if we are closed for bad weather. ABC 12 or NBC 25 typically will show that like the local districts are closed. If they're closed, we are closed. When the county government is closed for inclement weather, we are closed. Occasionally we might close for other reasons like COVID-19. If we have closings that are specific to your room, we're going to call you, like if the furnace blows or something. You should always watch our Facebook page for program-wide closures and for other reasons too. If you are a member of Facebook, check us out, GCCARD Head Start. Like us today. We will send home flyers about any closures that we know about in advance. So watch for flyers in your mailbox.
Pedestrian safe. Please hold your child's hand as you walk through our parking lot. Bring in all unsupervised kids in your car when you drop off or pick up. But please minimize the number of those kids that you need to bring in with you to sign your child in to the extent possible. Talk to your child about the importance of staying with you or with the group. Use a proper car seat for your child. If you don't have one, get an appointment with Amy, our health coordinator. You will sign your child in and out of care each day. We only will release your child to those listed on the emergency contact card. You cannot call us and tell us who you want to pick your child up in an emergency unless they're listed on that card. It is the most important piece of documentation you will provide to us. Be very thorough and think carefully about who you would want to put on that card. We will check the person's driver's license or state ID. Make sure they bring that with them. If they don't have it, we will not release to them. They must be an adult, so don't put anyone who's 17 years old on that card. The only exception to everything I just said is that we will release to protective services or to the police if a child is not picked up. We will follow the policy to release to protective services, or if they send the police, then the police. We don't want to do that. So make sure you pick up your child each day on time.
We are licensed by the state of Michigan. There is a notebook that is available for parents to peruse at each site. We have to be in compliance with their rules, including physicals and immunizations. We do have to have outdoor play every day unless it's raining or if it's below 20 degrees. And we will ask you to please dress for the weather. So in the winter, making sure that you are wearing hats and gloves and mittens and boots, all of that sort of thing, and warm coats. And in the summer, that means closed-toed shoes. I know it's hot, but kids can't run in sandals. They just can't. So please, closed-toed shoes is so important for health and safety. Drop off and pick up. Those things are part of licensing by the state of Michigan, and we will notify you if we are going to spray any pesticides or if any will be sprayed. So you will know about that. What will your child's day be like? So they're going to have an arrival time. They're going to hand wash. They're going to have free choice time. They're going to have cleanup time. They're going to have small group times where it's going to be a smaller amount of kids doing things. They're going to have group times where most of the group is going to get together and do stories and music. They're going to have snack times and meal times. They're going to have outdoor play every day. They're going to have rest time. Even if your child doesn't fall asleep, that's okay. They are going to get rest time. That's required by the state of Michigan for licensing. They will also get bathroom breaks and toilet training and diapering when they need to, and some other policies to be aware of. There is a weapons and safety policy. Obviously, we can't have weapons at school, and even if it's a toy weapon, you're going to be in trouble if you bring it. So make sure you read that policy. There is no smoking or vaping or drugs on school grounds or on field trips. Our program does not tolerate discrimination of any kind. Mandated reporters, that is something that we are. We don't enjoy having to file reports, so don't give us reason to file a report. But if we see something and suspect child abuse, you can know. We have to report it. It's required. Parent complaints. If you have any, please let us know. Go to your teacher first. And if they can't resolve it, then go above their heads to their supervisor, the education coordinator, or to the family service staff if you're comfortable with them. Let us know what your complaints are. We can't address things if we don't know. Sometimes it's just a miscommunication, and we can solve those problems. It's way better for everyone to be on the same page and know what's going on. So we ask you to, if you are concerned about something, talk to us about it. Discipline policy, that is on page 32. We are going to use positive methods like redirection and establishing rules. We are never going to spank your child or hit them. That's just not something that's tolerated in our program. Severely challenging children, that is going to be on page 34 and 35. You are going to want to read that policy. It is a goal for us to have healthy and safe environments for all. It is what we strive for. So please read those policies so that you know what's going on. And then we're going to get to some frequently asked questions. So if your child is having a birthday and you want to bring in cupcakes, well, typically we would allow you to bring in something that's store-bought and approved by the teacher prior. We would ask you to check because sometimes we have allergies in the classroom. We need to make sure whatever's brought in is okay for everyone. However, during COVID-19, we are not taking any kind of cupcakes or anything else because of the spread of illness. So sorry about that. It's kind of a bummer, we know. Will the classroom have holiday parties? Not really. Number one, we're not going to be congregating during COVID-19, but also, we just focus more on the seasons than on the holidays. But FYI, we have no control over what topics the kids are going to want to discuss. So kids may very well come in and talk about holidays, and I can't really tell them that they can't talk about that. So can I take pictures at school? Well, we're going to ask you not to. The reason is because a lot of children can't be photographed. Maybe they're foster kids, and we want to make sure that you don't get those kids in your pictures. If you want to go up to the school, particularly when we're not operating, and take a picture of your child outside the school, that'd be fine. Or if you want to take a picture with your teacher, arrange that with your teacher, maybe on a Friday or something, to go up and get a picture with them when there's no other kids available. Will there be school pictures? So some school districts are going to provide that opportunity, but it's between the parent and the district. We are not getting involved in it. We don't take them for those pictures. You will have to choose to participate and take them to the photo session and pay for it with the district, not with us. Your child might have a favorite toy that they would like to bring for show and tell. Well, we don't really do that, and we're definitely not doing that for COVID-19. But anything that they need, like a comfort item, that is going to have to come and be washed daily. Can I supply my child's own formula and diapers? Well, first of all, are you sure? We provide that for free to you. It will save you a lot of money if we provide it. But if you prefer a specific formula or brand of diapers that we can't provide, then mark them with your child's first and last name. The bottles have to be marked to include the date and time that the formula was prepared. There are lots of rules about that. Okay, monitored programming. There are lots of rules to follow, both for us and for you. The federal government monitors us. The state monitors us. The Genesee Intermediate School District monitors our GSRP blends. The health department monitors us. Internal monitoring, we monitor ourselves. We are monitored to death. There will be opportunities usually for Parent Policy Council members to help monitor us, but not during COVID-19. And you can usually ask your teacher to help with the health and safety checks, just not during COVID-19. If you have any kind of health or nutrition need, please make sure that you call to our downtown office at 235-5613. And otherwise, we really thank you for your attention and for entering the partnership with our program. We value your thoughts and your concerns and your time. If you have a question, ask. We're happy to help in any way that we can. Please expect more information forthcoming from your teachers about the hours and the days in session, and we thank you. Have a great day.